What's up, goodies? Welcome back to my channel and to my kitchen, how to cook. And today I'm going to show you how to make the best bread pudding recipe in your kitchen. Fast, easy and simple. Make sure you subscribe, goodie, if you have not, and turn the post notification on so you won't miss any other upload of all I'm returning goodie. When you don't know some love now, when you ready for cook, come on, let's cook. Okay, goodies, come on, let's cook. All right, so we have our bread here. Now, the bread that I'm using is leftovers bread from God knows how long, all right? Now, I have wheat bread here. I have hamburger bread. Listen, I have all kind of bread, different types of bread. However, you want to make sure that the bread that you're using here is a bread that is very stale. This bread has been sitting for, I'd say, 3 months. Yes, good. The longer the bread stale, the better the bread is going to be. I do keep my bread in my refrigerator, but I make sure that I have them in there for a very long time if I'm going to make a recipe such as this one. The staler the bread, the better the bread pudding are going to come out. Now, what you want to do is get your baking container and the bread of choice. You are going to crumble it up. When you crumble up any kind of a bread, whether you're using hot dog bread or hamburger bread or sliced bread or auto bread, any kind of a bread, wheat bread, any kind of a bread that you're using, you want to crumble them up in small pieces. It doesn't have to be all small, but you want to make sure that you crumble it up as much as you possibly can, right? But for me, I always like to have some chunks in my own. Even though I crumble it up, I want to have some that is not so crumbled, if that makes any sense, right? Now, another thing you want to do when you crumble up your bread is spread it even. Make sure that you are like massaging the bread, all right? So that way you get all the different flavors and texture of your bread throughout the entire baking pan, like I'm doing here, right? So this is going to be your very first step to achieving the best bread pudding in your kitchen every time straight. All right, goody. Now that we have done with step number 1, we're diving into step number 2, okay? We're going to be using the canned coconut here. Now, I did go back in and add water to that can and add it also to it. So just to say 2 cans. If you're using regular coconut, make sure you have at least 2.5 cups of coconut milk to the recipe, okay? But for me, I use about 2 cans. I'll say 1 can and added 1 cup of water. You don't have to do it that way. You could add milk or anything else to it if that's what you choose to do. All right. So also, you guys, I'm adding 3 eggs to the recipe as well. I'm using large eggs here, but make sure that you remove the eye of the egg when you are doing this recipe. Take the eye out. All right. Now we're going to go in with our sweetener. Our sweetener of choice is brown sugar here, dark brown sugar. You don't have to use this sugar. I use 1 cup here. You could add more or less if you like. 1 tablespoon of vanilla. I'm also going to be adding some ginger powder. 1 tablespoon of the ginger powder also. And to the ginger powder, I'm going to add cinnamon powder. 1 tablespoon of the cinnamon powder also, okay? And then you want to add some nutmeg for flavor. extra flavor, half teaspoon of that. And then we're going to add salt as needed. I did add 1 teaspoon of salt to mine. You don't have to add that much, or you could leave it out. I'm also going to add some raisins to kick it up a notch. Any raisins will do. But however, you want to make sure that it is sitting for like 5 minutes though. I did mix mine for 5 minutes, okay? I just kept mixing it for 5 minutes. Mixing it for 5 minutes. You could let it sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to have the raisins soak up a little bit more. But if you even skip this step, it's okay, because once you put the liquid into the bread, you're going to let it sit for at least a half an hour, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Just know that the longer you have it sit, is the better your bread pudding is going to taste, okay? For me, I only let mine sit for half an hour. But if you have time on your hands, you can let it sit for an hour. You can let it sit for 2 hours, even longer, because like again, once I said, like again, as always, you can let it sit for however long because it's going to taste better, okay? All right, so moving along, because I'm getting tied tongue up over here, okay, goodie? All right, so now that I've poured everything into the mix, right? Make sure that you combine. You want to combine everything together so that where your raisins are everywhere, you spread out your raisins all over your pan. All right. And as you can see, you guys, I'm using a very big size one here because the last time I made bread pudding in my house, which was not too long ago, maybe a week ago, it was done by the next day. All right. So today we're making a bigger one so that we will have some for ourselves and some to give away, right? So that's what I'm doing here, making a very big one, huge one. So make sure you have all the bread. Y'all, do not throw out your bread ends and all them something there, because that is your bread pudding right there. Just be sure that you put it in the refrigerator and let it stay there and get stale is what you want to do. But do not throw out your bread end, all right? Because a lot of people don't eat bread end. That is what you need to make your bread puddings, all right? All right, so now that everything is nicely combined here, all you have to do is cover it up, because you have to do that. That bread needs to be soaked thoroughly with your mixture, your flavored mixture. You go ahead and you cover it up. And again, I allowed mine to sit for half an hour, okay? Half an hour. But what I did do though, when I was done smoothing everything out, I did go back in and I did add a little bit more flavor on top. And again, that is totally optional. But for me, I love flavor. Una don't know, so Juliana cook everything of whole of flavor, right? So I did go back in and sprinkle a little bit more of the cinnamon powder on top for extra flavor. Yes, goodie. I sprinkled a little bit more of that baby on top, okay? And then after I got done, it looks like this. When everything is all combined and sprinkled with the cinnamon powder, because it's going to give it that nice little color on top too when you bake it. Then you want to go and use your plastic wrap and cover it up really tight. It's confirmation. Really, really tightly. And let it sit in a nice little area in your kitchen where it's very much unbuttered. And I like to give it darkness when I'm doing this so it could do what it needs to do. So I go in with a clean towel and just cover over it and allow it to sit there for half an hour, 1 hour, or whatever. And then we are ready, okay? So I'll say 1 hour later, it's time to pop this baby in the oven, okay? Your oven should be turned on already. You need to put this in a preheated oven. Your oven needs to be at 375 degrees. And this pudding takes about an hour to bake, all right, goodie? That is what it's going to look like after it's been sitting for an hour. All right, so you pop it in the oven. And once you pop this baby in the oven, you do not open the oven until 1 hour later. 1 hour later, you come back. It is going to look like that. The entire house is going to smell fabulous, all right? And it's going to look exactly like that. Now, what I do as far as my little soft custardy taste on top, I have some more coconut milk here. And all I'm doing here is adding just a little bit more cinnamon powder. Not a lot, just a little bit of cinnamon powder. If you like, you could add a little bit of melted butter to it, but I chose not to add any butter Just the coconut milk and the cinnamon powder, because you can never have too much cinnamon powder in this recipe. Flavor, 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 and just pour it on your pudding when it's hot. Okay, do not allow your pudding to get cold when you remove it from the oven. You want to throw it on there when it is still piping, scorching hot. Then you go ahead and you distribute all that goodness all over the top of your pudding, just like so. All right. If you ain't doing it this way, honey, you're going to be missing a very critical stage of this thing, okay? It should be looking like this and only like this. And when I tell you the thing is smelling good, y'all, the thing is smelling good. So what I do after I'm done with that and it's still hot, I go ahead and I cover it up, but I do not put it back in the oven. Leave it on the top, on your kitchen top for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes in, you come back. This is what you will have. The best, when I say the best, when I accelerated on me, I tell you, goody, you're going to have the best bread pudding every single time. Nice and custardy on top, soft and moist on the inside, and filled with nothing but good old-fashioned tasting raisins, okay? Talk about flavor, baby. When you make this recipe, you are going to be like, oh my goodness, Juliana was right all along. Goody, the thing is massive. Look at that. Look at that. That coconut is doing some things. That coconut cream, baby, is doing some things, okay? The thing is awesome, awesome. And when you cut into this thing here, let me tell you, the flavor, the texture is perfect. So here what you're going to do for me, goody. Make sure so you spread the love, okay? Tell the man up the road, tell the girl down the street. Bring them come, goody, and send them come. Because what? I'm waiting. And when you get done doing all of that, tell me where you want to see me cook next in my kitchen. And remember, as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen, enjoy!